Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a battle of the eyeshadow sticks, the ones that I would not recommend. I'm still not sure what I'm calling this, but it's definitely in this series of the battle of the eyeshadow sticks. My original idea, and you'll kind of see when we get into the video, obviously my hair is different, things are a little bit different. And the reason for that is I had to go back and refilm this intro because I originally thought that I was going to be able to put everything in one video. And then as I was editing it, I was like, there's no way it's going to be like, it's going to be so long. So I ended up breaking it up. So this first video is going to be a battle of the high-end eyeshadow sticks, the ones that I would not recommend. A couple of things that I want to tell you guys. The second video after this is going to be the battle of the eyeshadow sticks, the ones that I would recommend, either that I'm going to keep in my collection or I'd recommend trying out if you're interested. And then I'm going to do another series or another video on drugstore. So kind of looking at the battle of the drugstore eyeshadow sticks. And then the last video, I would like to do a high-end versus drugstore of do you really have to spend high-end prices to get a eyeshadow stick that is worth it? So stay tuned for that. Couple quick things that I want to tell you guys about. The first thing is I did not review every single eyeshadow stick that there is. I know that going into that. I purchased these with my own money, so as you can see, or as you will see as the video progresses, they're not cheap. So I tried to keep it within the budget that I was working at. So I recognize that I do not have every single eyeshadow stick in here. I apologize for that, but I have a good majority. So let's go ahead and get in the video. Like I said, things are gonna be a little bit different, but hopefully you guys get the gist. So without further ado, let's get in the video. Okay, so the first color or the first eyeshadow stick is the Sephora Collection Colorful Shadow Liner. So it kind of looks like this. It's got a decent point. I'll honestly tell you, I think it's one of those, it doesn't move up. You have to do an eyeshadow pencil. Not here, you know, not a big deal or whatever, but I prefer one that's like self-sharpening or one that moves up, but it's not a big deal. So these retail for $14. There are 37 colors, and I do have to say that is the most out of everything here. The Sephora collection has the most color options. So one thing that I do have to say about this is the color is absolutely amazing. It is a very pretty green color. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, but not a lot of glitter. It is beautiful, beautiful, and is one of the ones that I was really excited about. Now, it does say on the website that they are waterproof. They last up to 12 hours. There are 3 different finishes. There's matte, glimmer, and shimmer. This one that I have right here is 09 Khaki. Kind of a little misleading because to me, khaki is more like a brownish, or this is a true like kind of emerald green, but still pretty. So as far as this one goes, this one was horrible when it came out to blending, to the point where it got so patchy and I was trying to like layer it and fill in the patchiness that I finally just took it off. So as far as does it crease? How does it wear or whatever? I never even got to that point. It just did not blend. It seemed to dry really, really fast. And some of them, like I thought, okay, well, I'll just fill in that or whatever, but it was a little too much. So I would like take my finger, then I took the brush. No matter what I did, if it was my finger or my brush that I was using, I could not get it to blend out. So even though the color is beautiful, the price is right, and they have so many different colors, it just didn't work for me. It was by far the worst one. So next is the Juice Beauty, I think it's Photo, I guess it's maybe Photo, I don't know, Pigments Cream Shadow Stick. This bad boy retails for $22. There's 5 different colors. I got 22 Stone Rocker. So this one says it's vegan and cruelty-free. It does have an age-defying serum technology that's supposed to help diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, all that stuff. So this one it had a very dry formula, and when you first apply it, it just is very dry. Maybe dry is not the right word. It's not comfortable to apply. It felt like I was tugging my eyelids, like I was actually pulling them. It was easy to blend with my fingers. could not get it to blend with a brush. It almost needed like the heat of my fingers to be able to blend it out, almost to like melt the product. It ended up creasing really bad halfway throughout the day. It was worst by far of all of them that I found that creased. I was able to blend it out with my finger, but because it was so dry, I had to pull a little bit, and it ended up causing like a burning sensation on my lid. It did end up fading out throughout the day, probably because I was having to sit there and go in and fix it. It was easy to get off. At the end of the day, I usually use my makeup eraser and just kind of go like that. It was easy to get off because there really wasn't that much product left because it had faded throughout the day because I kept messing with it. Really pretty color, but again, it just was too dry of a formula to make it work. So I definitely would not be recommending this one. So next is the Stila, I never know how to say that, the Trifecta Metallica Lip, Eye, and Cheek Stick. Now, I have to say, when brands come out with like these multi things or whatever, I get the eyes, I get the lips, sometimes the cheek is a little wonky or whatever, but I just feel like this is a color that I don't necessarily would ever put on my lips. But then again, if you were maybe a darker skin tone, it might work for you. So this is kind of what it looks like. It does have that mechanical mechanism or whatever, which I really, really like. I didn't love the tip so much because I wasn't able to get in as easily because it wasn't as pointed, but I made it work. It wasn't horrible. So this one says it's a lightweight formula that blends out for a soft, subtle shimmer, and it won't crease or budge. It retails for $26 and it comes in 4 colors. I got it in the color Topaz. So I do have to say, out of all the ones that I tried, the Stila ones were my most like excited about. Even though it only comes in 4 colors, their colors are gorgeous. They're not like everyday colors. Like there's a kind of a reddish maroon one that looks so pretty. It's probably something I would never wear in my whole entire life, but it just looks beautiful. And this color almost has like a multi-dimensional where it's brown, and then you can just see little flecks of like kind of a bluish hue. It is very, very pretty. It was probably my most excited one that I was excited about, and probably the reason why I have it so low on my list, because I was completely disappointed with it. So it was very easy to blend with my fingers. It was very comfortable right off the bat. It didn't have a tight or tacky feeling. And I mean, it did at first, but then it kind of went away after a couple minutes, so super comfortable. It did start creasing after 15 minutes, but I was able to kind of blend it out because it still had that creaminess. It didn't dry super dry. It was still easy to blend out or whatever. Maybe that's why it creased so much, but within 15 minutes, it had already creased. And it just kept creasing throughout the day. So I kept having to go in and fix it and crease it, and what that caused it to do is fade throughout the day. So by the end of the day, there was barely anything on my lids. I had kind of blended it off and out. So really, really disappointed. What I noticed, even though it doesn't have any glitter in it, like there's no chunks of glitter, I felt like it almost scratched my eyelids. So it wasn't like, okay, I had to blend it out or whatever, and it was fine. It was like I had to blend it out, and towards the end of the day, my eyelids were almost burning. Like there was some kind of small glitter that I couldn't see that was kind of, you know, scraping it. And then, of course, because I had to blend it throughout the day, by the end of the day, it was almost gone because I had kind of blended it away. So super disappointed with this one. I was looking forward to maybe adding the other ones to my collection, but after going through this, I can't recommend it. It just really wasn't able to work. If it creased a couple times throughout the day, it wouldn't have been that bad, but because it was so uncomfortable by the end of the day and I had that burning sensation, it's definitely not something that I want to continue to wear in the future. So the next one is, I cannot say this brand. It is so horrible. I fell out. But it is the Shiseido? I don't know. This is the Kajal. I'm not exactly sure. I'll put everything down below. But this is their Ink Artist Shadow Liner Brow thing. So it looks like this. Oh, it does have a little blender thing here. It's a little wonky, and it does have a pencil sharpener here. It's like, I can't think of what that word is. But it goes up. I don't know why you would need the pencil sharpener, maybe to keep the tip like pointy or whatever, but yeah. So this one retails for $25. It has 8 colors and it has a 12-hour waterproof wear. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of the tip just because it is very pointy, and I just felt like I was like, it took a while to get all of it on my lid. Even when I blended out, it did not blend out. As a liner, awesome because of that tip, but just using it as a shadow, it just wasn't as time sensitive or whatever. It just took a little bit to put the product that I needed. I ended up getting the Tea House 01, so it's definitely a kind of a brown color, very pretty brown color. It did blend out well with a brush, and then I kind of used my finger to, you know, pack on more of the color because it did kind of fade away a little bit. So it was very comfortable on my lid. I didn't feel a lot of tackiness or anything. The problem I had with it was it did crease throughout the day. And with some of the other ones, I was able to kind of blend it out and it was fine. This one, I don't know if it just like dried too fast or it was just a very matte formula, but I wasn't able to blend it out. So I literally had to go with the crease. Not that big a deal, but to me, it just, for the price, $25, I want something that doesn't crease. And I, believe it or not, found some that are just as much, or just as expensive that didn't crease. So I know it's possible. So overall, did not enjoy this one. For a liner, it probably would be okay because you don't have that creasing, you know, thing that you have to worry about, but as a shadow, definitely would not recommend it. So next is the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Smoky Shadow. I got this in 04 Jungle, and it is a really pretty green, kind of a deep green color. It's not really an emerald color. It definitely has more of that jungle green. I'm assuming that's why they called it jungle. It is definitely jungle green. It is very, very pretty. So this bad boy comes in 11 different colors. It retails for $23. They do say that it's vegan. It has a 24-hour wear time. It's a shadow coal liner. They say it's transfer, water, and smudge proof. It's safe on the waterline and ophthalmologist tested, so it's good for sensitive eyes. So this one, the one thing I had a problem with it, I didn't feel like I could really get in close because the tip isn't that pointed, but I made it work. It wasn't that big a deal. It didn't blend out very well. I did have some issues blending it out, and I was really kind of disappointed when I was blending the color out because when you see it here, it's got definite green color, but when you kind of blend it out and becomes smoky, it kind of goes to this like blah gray color. It kind of loses that green pigment. If I would have been able to see that green pigment come through, I wouldn't have put it so low on the list. But even though, I mean, it blended out kind of blah or whatever, if it still had that green color, I think I wouldn't have minded it. One thing I did notice was because I was trying to build up that green color, I think that's probably why several hours later, it did start to crease. I just had to keep building in order to kind of build up that green color. Otherwise, it was just this kind of blah gray. So when I first put it on, it was slightly tacky. It was not uncomfortable, but I did notice that several hours later, I still felt the tackiness on my eyelid. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was definitely more than some of the other ones that I had tried. I did experience slight creasing throughout the day, but I was able to kind of go in and blend it. So it wasn't that bad, and it didn't seem to kind of fade throughout the day. So it held up well. It did crease a little bit, but it was easy to blend. The biggest disappointment I had with this was the fact that I could not get it to go to that green color. So definitely wouldn't recommend this one. It just didn't do anything for me. So next is the Jouer. I don't even know how to say it, but I'll put everything below so you don't have to try to interpret what I'm saying. But this is the Creme Eyeshadow Crayon. It only comes in one color. It's this really pretty gold color. It retails for $20. And like I said, only that one color. It says on the website that it's long wearing and it has vitamin E in it that acts as a natural conditioner. And it does have this where the tip isn't very pointed. I felt like I was able to get in to my eyeshadow line, but I do like the way that it has that kind of mechanism that goes up, so I don't have to worry about, you know, blend or sharpening it. That color is gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So it did blend out well. I was able to blend it out with a brush, and then I kind of went in and packed the color on and then just kind of packed it on with my finger. It seemed to work really well towards that. So definitely had some good high marks for blendability. The one main disappointment that I had with this was that it dried very dry. Once all that tackiness kind of went away, and the tackiness wasn't even that big a deal. It was very comfortable when I first applied it, but throughout the day I noticed that it was almost getting so dry that it was flaking off, and by the end of the day I just had these patches of where the color just kind of had flaked off. So super disappointing. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see that sheen in there. Just I don't know why it was so dry. Like, I wish it wasn't as dry, because this definitely would have been one of the top ones. So next is the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick. These retail for $30. There's 15 different colors. I got 22 taupe. The website says that it's long-lasting, budge-proof formula that stays in place for 8 hours. And it's just a really pretty kind of muddy color, just a very kind of natural camel color. It blended out really well. I did use the brush and it worked perfectly. It was very comfortable when I first applied it, and comfortable throughout the day. It didn't have that tackiness or stickiness feeling, or that kind of tight feeling that some of the eyeshadow formulas have. So the one bad thing, it did crease throughout the day, and I felt like almost in that crease area, it kind of faded. So even though I was able to blend it out, there was just kind of like some stuff missing. It wasn't horrible, because the color, to be honest, was kind of close to my, I mean, that's not close to my skin tone, but it wasn't like one of those bright colors or whatever where you'd be able to see like, okay, she's missing something. So it wasn't horrible, but definitely disappointing. I did feel like everything else was good. It just was that kind of fading throughout the day was kind of a bummer. It was easy, it was comfortable, it did crease, but for $30, you would, I personally would expect it to be a little bit better, but it's not. So for $30, definitely would not recommend it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, those were the high-end eyeshadow sticks that I would not recommend. Not every one of them were horrible, but I just found, and you'll see from the next video, that there are some that just were overall really, really good, and those are the ones that I would recommend. So definitely stay tuned for that second video of the eyeshadow sticks that I would recommend. Until next time, bye.